All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good evening. Welcome aboard AR, Accelerated Retirement. This is our, third session here at Full Throttle at Top Gun Options. Free week of live trading and trading. Happy Wednesday to everybody. Got a good crowd filing in here. Some questions I've been answering as we begin getting ready to get airborne. And going to have a good session. Had a very good session yesterday in our primary live trade brief. The replay is posted on the replay page. Everybody should know where that is. Quick review of what we've done, where we're going, maybe. We did our welcome aboard Monday night at 9 p.m. and we did the primary live trade brief yesterday afternoon at 1 p.m. Took a look at a bullish trade on China, even though China sucks right now. So make sure you watch that to understand what is going on. As I said, it is on the replay page right here. Let me put the link to that in the chat box because I know a couple of my strategic partners sent out some emails sending some folks over this way. So this might be your first Top Gun Options brief. Make sure you watch the welcome aboard brief that we did Monday night, which is on the page there. It gives you an idea about who I am, our methodology, and the 7-step trade plan that we used yesterday, we're going to use today, and we use all the time. That right there, folks, is worth the price of admission. Over in the handout section, you have all the handouts that you need to be smart, SMRT, and to make you a better trader. And we'll explain all that stuff in detail as we go. This afternoon, we're doing AR, Accelerated Retirement. I want to take a look at Raytheon. Before you logged in, I had the new trade already up on the screen. I'm working it right now, I think trying to get 63 cents. Looking the leg into a range-bound trade on Raytheon going into earnings. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. BS, please go over your exit plan for FXI. Not going to do that, BS. I went through the exit plan on FXI yesterday for about 15 to 20 minutes. You're going to have to watch the replay. This is a different portfolio. I stated the portfolio, and we're going to talk about AR today, Accelerated Retirement, and the positions in here. So everything that was covered yesterday, you can watch on the replay page. Not going to eat up valuable time. We're going to open up 50 slots after I get done today. So at the end of this brief, I'll kick my members out and the potential new members can hang out, and I'm going to show you how to get one of the 50 slots. We get 50 today. This afternoon, we're not going to do the brief tonight, and I'll send out an email. If we do, or if we don't, we'll do the brief tonight. And tomorrow we'll do this until we get 50, and then we'll be done. We're going to close the doors. In the 9 years that I've been doing Full Throttle, we haven't done this, but I've got to make the tactical decision to do that. For the first 50 motivated people to grab their full throttle slots, we're going to start focus on you and kick the rest of the tire kickers out here because we give away way too much content here at Top Gun Options, and it's just not it's not fair to folks. So, all right, so that's what we're doing. Full Throttle Week, industry leading. We've opened the doors. You're going to get to see our current accelerated retirement positions, opening up those slots today. I think tonight we're going to cover the Tredge, the trade that also serves as a hedge. It's going to be on volatility because we got to cover CSX today. Absolutely shocking earnings out of CSX, which does not bode well for the overall market. I'm telling you, transports are a canary in the coal mine. FedEx, UPS, CSX, when those dudes are slowing down, the economy's slowing down, and that's not a good thing. Let me get through some of this stuff, you guys. So here's what we're going to do in AR. I'm giving you a quick intro. I'm going to give you a strategic and operational brief. Some things happened overnight in the Gulf and actually here in the United States that are concerning, and we'll get operational. We got to take a look at our current positions in our portfolio, some new trades, and then we'll open up the slots towards the end there. All right, that's about it. I want to get in here and start trading. As I said, I'm treating you kind of as a member, and talking to my members as we go through some of the existing positions. Mark, is the Tredge on a webinar tonight? That's what I just said. Yeah, we'll probably talk about the Tredge tonight, unless we get 50. I don't think we've ever gotten 50 members between Accelerated Retirement and the brief tonight. So we'll plan on doing the brief tonight. But there has been, just got an email from support saying a lot of people have already been calling, or, hey, I'm going to miss today. How do I get my slot? Stuff like that. But we're closing as soon as we get 50. And we usually don't do that. I usually just keep doing the rest of the week free, but it really doesn't make any sense. If you're not going to become a member, I'm not going to give you more free content and answer your questions. It's just, we're not a charity. All right, so here we go. Overnight, so there's a missing UAE oil tanker. It's been missing for days, and the Trump administration has avoided talking about this. I know about this. I knew about this. 3 days the thing's missing. Nobody wants to mention it. Iran says it helped. It helped this oil tanker into Iranian waters because of a technical glitch. It sounds retarded. So IRGC boats went out and essentially seized this tanker. What also happened last night? 3 IRGC boats made a high-speed run at another British tanker, and the HMS Montrose trained its guns and its fire control system on those boats and said they were going to open fire. Very, very close. Just because you're sitting here looking at the Suicide Squad in the House, going back and forth with the president, doesn't mean this stuff is not going on. I don't know how many times I sent an email home going, hey, did you see the news? We're dropping bombs or we're getting shot at. And no, nothing's going on. So just because it's not being reported doesn't mean it's happening. Remember, the market only cares when it cares, and it's going to care about this stuff when something goes boom. Okay. How about this? 3 Iranians caught smuggling many tons of nuke-related material out of the United States. Let's let that sink in. And I'm really tired of hearing from Americans who say, who cares about Iran and stuff like that. Who cares about Iran? You put a suitcase-sized nuke in the subway in New York City, and there goes 4 million Americans. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of people saying we shouldn't be dealing with Iran. I'm going to tell you, folks, under 8 years of Barack Hussein Obama, the Pentagon was ordered not to disclose combat casualties in Iraq at the hands of Iranian forces. Iranian forces in Iraq killing American. 608 soldiers and Marines have been killed by Iranian IRGC forces. I'm going to let that sink in. The last time I checked, if a military kills 608, if my son, who wants to be a Marine, was killed by Iranian forces, I'd be in Iran right now killing people. So that's bad. Iran getting a nuclear weapon, folks, is bad. So I'll keep an eye on this. You guys know I have a pretty extensive network. I might be going back to flying fighter jets out at Nellis Air Force Base in Vegas. More on that later. I'm going through my top secret security clearance re-upgrade. They got to interview and do and stuff like that, but more to come on that. But how can markets care when stuff like that is not even reported? That's what I'm getting at, Tamara, is what? The markets care when it's reported. So we at Top Gun Options care when it's not being reported. How many times have we hedged or done something and all of a sudden a week or a day later, boom? How many of you, I still have the email from, I can dig it up, but one of my coaching clients a year and a half ago, Donald Trump, said, or what's his name? Bandar Assad used chemical weapons that crossed a red line. I said, dude, in 48 hours, missiles are going to start flying. And then mysteriously, I sent him another email that said in a couple hours, missiles are going to start flying. Let's get long volatility. We did, and we printed money. I'm not going to tell you how I knew that, but I did. So that's what I'm getting at is markets only care when they care. Top Gun Options cares before the markets care. Does that make sense? So that's what I'm getting at. All right, now let's move on here. We talked about this yesterday in the primary live trade brief. There's a lot of my members that are just in accelerated retirement. So if you were in the PLTB yesterday, this will be a little bit of a review. But the GDP print the other day out of China was awful. I've been doing this for 27 years. The last time they had a print this bad was when I started doing this. Essentially, 27 years ago was the last time their GDP growth had imploded to this bad. So what's that mean? Oh man, get bearish on FXI, the iShares ETF? Nope, it means get bullish on FXI because China is going to have to jump in once again to save their market and their economy. They are getting bloodied a hell of a lot more than we are, right? So we talked yesterday about actually potentially legging into an iron condor on this. So we put on a bull put spread. Look at this. When's the last time you saw, this was like 3 up days, 2 down days. Look at the movement in this thing. Even when it was it wasn't flat down here. I haven't seen FXI. Look at the left side of this chart, folks. Craziness, absolute craziness. And now we're just, look at that. right on the center line of the runway of the middle of this Keltner channel. Take a look at the 3-month chart. When's the last time you saw it this calm? Even these, boom, boom. So interesting out of FXI, it's the calm before the storm. There's been not one piece of good news out of the China-United States trade deal. All I saw yesterday, what was it, after the close, somebody said, I think Lighthizer and Mnuchin are getting on a phone call later in the week to like call their counterparts. That's it. That's it. There is no, hey, come over here on an airplane, we'll be over there. There is no, we're 90% of the way there. The president the other day sent out a tweet that said, we're not even close to a deal. China ain't good. The president has said, if we don't get, listen, this is shocking. If we don't get a deal, I'm fine where we are. Meaning, I'm good bringing in all these tariffs and billions of dollars to the Treasury. I'm good. We don't have to get a deal with China. Did you hear me say that? Because the market hasn't, right? We're going to talk about CSX earnings in a second. And Jim Foote, who's the CEO of CSX, said what? I've never, in my X amount of years, I forget what he said, years of in this economy, I've never seen it like this. The New York Fed, obviously one of the biggest, little Timmy Geithner ran it under Obama. One of the most influential Fed departments in the United States said what? Their recession indicators are flashing red. Now, at the beginning of this year, ladies and gentlemen, I briefed my Top Gun options on this acronym. Everybody look at this acronym. FIROC. I'm from Jersey. I remember IROC, what IROC stood for, right? FIROC. The F in FIROC, these were the things that were going to move the market in 2019. I gave this brief in November or December of last year. You ready for this? Fed, impeachment, recession, oil, China. I actually got a call from a couple big hedge funds about wanting my paper behind FIROC or to see if I had trademarked or service marked it. I'm like, paper? I came up with like 20 PowerPoint slides. I ain't sitting down to write some massive FIROC, folks. Yeah, Fed, impeachment, recession, oil, and China. Every one of those has been a massive issue this year, and we've traded just about in every one of those verticals. What am I getting at? This is not good. The China trade negotiations are not good. We're going to, be more or less short-term bullish tactical trade in this, and then we're going to get bearish on FXI. Now, somebody, yeah, exactly. Now the I is Iran. Well, I put the O in there as oil, right? Whenever I write the O, it's kind of the Middle East, right? Yeah, we could throw Iran in there for the I along with impeachment because it seems like the Democrats are back to divided government and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. Well, FANG and, BRICS. Everybody remember this acronym, right? The BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And everybody knows the FANGs, right? Facebook, Apple, Netflix, Google. There ain't no Amazon in there. Amazon is not a FANG. It is not a technology company. It is a services company. Anyway, we'll keep an eye on China, what's going on. I briefed you on the military side, military maneuvers off of Taiwan by the Chinese over the weekend after we sold $2.2 billion in arms to we call it a country, they call it a renegade province. That's going to come to a head as well. So we got the Middle East and we have China. And what happened 5 years ago today? Somebody tell me what happened 5 years ago today that caused the market to implode briefly and volatility to spike. This is why you have to be up to speed on and get a strategic brief. You woke up this day and said, why is my portfolio down 10%? Anybody remember what happened 5 years ago today? And don't be Googling what happened 5 years ago today. The Malaysian airliner was shot down by a Russian air defense battery in Ukraine, which of course the Russians said Ukraine did it. I know for a fact it was the Russians, and so do we. So 5 years ago today, Russian forces in Ukraine shot 290 people, children sitting there sucking on a sippy cup, eating peanuts, men, women, vaporized, bodies flew to the ground. Time does fly, Karen. Everybody remember that? Jesus, you can't So Vladimir Putin, what did we do? We shook our finger. What did Barack Hussein Obama do? Nothing. Ukraine was begging for our help. Give us some help. We left the Soviet Union. We want to be free. Barack Hussein Obama flew blankets and MREs, meals ready to eat. You know what he flew them on? Commercial aircraft. He didn't want to fly Air Force jets in there to anger Putin. How could you anger the dude anymore? He already took back Crimea. He already took half of Ukraine. Now he shot down a civilian airliner. We don't want to anger him anymore. There's your collusion, folks. The dude that actually whispered to the Russian president, I'll have more flexibility to do stuff when I get reelected. U.S. stocks mixed as earnings season gets underway. Industrial companies are the biggest drag on the S&P. Earnings are due from Netflix, eBay, and others. I don't care about any of those. We have got to talk about CSX. We'll talk about that in a second. Earnings growth, or I'm sorry, retail. We talked about retail sales yesterday. American shop and factories perk up. So we are seeing a mixed bag here, ladies and gentlemen. We're seeing some mixed earnings. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, all of those were hot and cold. That was porridge. We got porridge earnings out of the financials, folks. Really, really weird earnings out of the financials. I haven't seen a mixed bag like that in ages. Usually, like, if they're off, it's like one really beats and the rest suck, or all suck, and vice versa. All the financials have been spotty. Who was it? Bank of America CEO. I would short the hell out of the financials right now. Does everybody know one of the main way these companies make money? NIM, net interest margin. What happens when the Fed cuts interest rates? These guys do not make money. Remember, I bailed out of JP Morgan a year and a half ago. Thank God. That it is dead money. Dead money, the financials. And let's take a look here. Let's take a look at XLF. That's the financial ETF. Yeah, look at that. Since Monday, the XLF has rolled over. This thing's going to get pounded into the dirt in 2 weeks. What happens in 2 weeks, folks? I would sell. We might even. This might be a tactical foray here. I would sell the hell out of Goldman Sachs. Goldman's had a great run. It's done. These guys are dead. What happens in 2 weeks? A Fed meeting. A Fed meeting. Look at JP Morgan. Flat. There is no life in JP Morgan. BAC, Bank of America. I would short the hell out of all these things. What did I say last week? Right? Yeah, Fed meeting. I said last week, I was watching Power Lunch. These guys are like, oh, financials. I'm like, what? Are you all stupid? The Fed's getting ready to cut interest rates for absolutely no reason. Or if they are cutting interest rates, then it's for a reason. The reason isn't good. Maybe the Fed, maybe Jerome Powell is looking at all the instruments in his cockpit and going, we got a recession coming, folks. The Wall Street Journal had a report recently where 33% of the economists they surveyed said a recession's due in the next 12 months. What am I getting at? The mixed earnings here for the financials is not good. The Fed cuts interest rates. I would short the hell out of the banks. I would be bearish on the XLF like you read about. And the XLF is done for now, guys. We have bank earnings coming out, but there's the regional banks start coming out. So we had all the the Wall Street blue blood banks report, and they were mixed at best. Was it the KRE? The KRE is the regional. KRE is a regional bank ETF. Look at this thing. You want to talk about dead money? How's the 3-month chart of this thing looking? Down 5%. This thing's going to implode as well. Regional banks are going to get killed even more yesterday. Or when they report earnings. Okay, so if you're looking, we're not in banks. I got out of JP Morgan a long time ago. We were printing money for years there. Goldman Sachs was our financial Death Star. And then Lloyd Blankfein turned into a limousine liberal, and we bailed out of it, and it imploded. Thank God that guy's gone. I would look, if you're looking at maybe a tactical, and we topped at, where did we top out here? 28, a little over 28, and down. This is accelerated retirement, guys. I don't like forays or, really, short-term tactical trades, but I'm kind of giving you an overall situational awareness brief. But yeah, hell, I would short the hell out of these out of the XLF. This thing is, somebody give me the bullish case why this thing would go up. The only way these go up is if the Fed comes out and says we're not raising interest rates, and then the market absolutely implodes because they need their hopium. Yeah, I look at this. So we talked yesterday about my SOP for a $100,000 model portfolio. I don't want to risk more than $5,000 on any one trade. Again, this is kind of full throttle week, and I'm throwing ideas out there, but this is bad. So, Ray, I couldn't agree more. The NIM, the net interest margin. So, what do the regionals not do that the Wall Street blue bloods do? Trade. Does everybody know what FIC means? FICC. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, what do they have? Fixed income, currency, and commodity. This is their prop arm. This is trading. Fixed income, currency, and commodities. What do those also, what does Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley also do? Investment banking. I mean, the old Goldman Sachs, that's what you did, right? So the regional banks don't do any of that. They don't have trading divisions. I mean, they hedge and do stuff like that, but they ain't a prop trading arm. So Ray, you bring up a great point that the KRE should be imploding more and being even, well, compare the two charts and KRE sucks more. So I do an at the money bear call spread on the KRE or an at the money bear call spread on the XLF. This is the KRE is how much volume? Way less volume. 3 million there, and then the XLF is like 20 million, 21 million ish. Yeah. Ooh, look at that, 21. Man, I'm good. So yeah, I mean, this is if you're exactly, Tamara's like, hey, everybody look at Deutsche Bank. 18,000 human beings losing their jobs in the equity side of Deutsche Bank. Why? They can't trade their way out of a paper bag either. So anyway, yeah, I mean, I can do this. Robert, it's not Thinkorswim or Trade Monster. This is E-Trade. It used to be Trade Monster. It used to be Options House. Now it is E-Trade. Yeah. So, yeah, this is a potential trade idea. So here's a bonus. I wasn't even going to talk about this, but I was doing this in my own private portfolio earlier today. I'm like, I'm going to pound the hell out of these banks into the dirt. Another reason you don't watch CNBC or anything like that, you become a TGO member. They were all wrong last week. Did everybody? One of the only shows I watch on CNBC is Power Lunch. I know a couple of the dudes and could not disagree more. And every time I say the words, I could not disagree more with those people, we end up making money and they lose money. Let's see if they all do a crawl on broken glass and admit that the financial earnings were mixed at best and be bearish on them. It's so stupid. It's dead money. So, Dennis, aren't financials supposed to do better as interest rates increase? Yeah. Dennis, what's the Fed getting ready to do? Cut rates. Let me give you a quick wizism, guys. We're taking way too much time on this, but let me give you a wizism. When interest rates are high, stocks will die. When interest rates are low, stocks will grow, except financials. You bet. I'll repeat that. When interest rates are high, stocks will die. Money's expensive, folks. What happened when when Ben Bernanke had us at near zero interest rates? Steve Wynn at Wynn Resorts was like, man, I can borrow a couple billion dollars for a couple $100 million in interest. Pfft, it's almost un-American. When interest rates are low, stocks will grow. That's why the Fed wants to cut interest rates, right? Target inflation, blah, blah, blah. But the only stocks that really do well in a high interest rate environment are who? The financials. I remember driving on Naval Air Station Fort Worth in like 2004 or something like that, stop by our bank for our 8% CD or something like that and get a free toaster. Today, if you went to a bank to get a CD, they'd hit you in the head with the toaster and ask if you were stupid. So Dennis, yeah, but remember, we're talking about financials here. This is a good looking trade though. Going out a couple weeks. This is a bear call spread. I'm actually going to add this one to this portfolio. This would be what I call a foray. I'm not long the financials out in time. This would be a target of opportunity trade. This makes sense though, and this makes sense where? Up here, man. Look at this. Hypoxic. In 2 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, out here, the Fed can only disappoint. If they do what the market thinks, not thinks, there is I've rarely seen this in my career. There is a 100% Fed funds futures rate that the Fed's going to cut. Do you not think the people at the Federal Reserve don't see that and go, man, if we don't cut, the market would implode? Right? So this is the market's at epic record highs, volatility's at some lows. We got China trade war dragging on. We got potential real war with China. We got potential real war with Iran, and we got an election coming up. So, this is a good looking bear call spread. Selling 180, why 180? Give me 2 minutes. Selling 180 of the August 2nd, 28 calls. Why am I doing that? That's after the Fed meeting. The financials are mostly, even if the market gets a pop, like, hey, the Fed did what we ordered it to do. You ever hear this, folks? Buy on the rumor, sell on the news. I think the Fed cutting interest rates in 2 weeks might cause the market to go down. We'll see. So, BS, yep, absolutely have to because of training. Can't give financial advice, so that's exactly what we have to use during our live trade briefs. Selling 180 of the August 2nd, 28 calls. That's look at this, folks. This is right now we're at 28. This is essentially an at the money bear call spread. This is not for the faint of heart. This is an at the money bear call spread. So, Chris, I don't think, a 50 basis point. Morgan Stanley came out last week and said, oh yeah, we need 50 at the end of the month, or we're going to shoot ourselves type of thing. Chris, I'm hearing rumors there might be a 50 cut and then nothing, meaning zero for the rest of the year. Like 50, they're going to go big and then go home at the end of the month. I have heard that. So Chris, that's what's interesting is if the rumor is, hey, I'm hearing it might be 50 and it's 25 and done, meaning we're going to cut 25 basis points and maybe sit on our hands the rest of the year. The market will absolutely implode. Chris, the 100% Fed funds futures rate is at pricing in a 25 BIP cut. Yes, 25. Can I grab a screenshot of this? No, I didn't. Let me grab a screenshot of this trade. I'll add this to our AR portfolio. I actually talked myself into this. This isn't that tactical because it is out about 3 weeks, but usually we don't do these type of trades in AR. We gotta get to CSXO, folks. We gotta move. AR is only an hour, folks. Every Wednesday it is 1 hour from 1 to 2. So let's go ahead and get moving here. So I'm actually going to go up to 200 contracts. Why? Because I don't want to risk more than $5,000 on any one trade. Okay, well, of course, I just went north of that, but I'm the pilot in command of this portfolio, and I like that. Okay, yeah, Kevin, you could do that. I'm not going to confuse people. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. I wanted to talk about burner trade maybe tonight with the Tredge thing. So, okay, so the first place our eyes look is max potential loss, $5,400. That is based, ladies and gentlemen, on 200 contracts. Don't want to risk $5,400? Don't do 200. I can't tell you what to do, right? You're the pilot in command of your own portfolio. You're getting the eavesdrop on what I would potentially do, right? Want to risk 2,500 or whatever, do 100. You want to trade risk 11 grand, you're doing 400. I can't tell you what to do. But once you acknowledge, you know what? I understand that risk. If everything goes to hell in a handbasket and the XLF pops, this is my max potential loss, right? Now we can look up here and go, okay, I acknowledge my risk. Now I know my max potential profit is about $4,600. Somebody just asked, so this is a more aggressive trade. Somebody said, what would be less aggressive? Go up 50 cents. Go up to like the 28.5 29. But so look at the pricing of this. Going up 50 cents, the options market, we went all the way down to 9 cents. And the probability of this making money is 71%. So the options market, immediately I can tell you by looking at it, is telling me that they don't think the XLF is going to be going up anytime soon. Okay, so I'd look to try and get filled on the trade at 22 cents, maybe plus or minus 2 cents. The lowest I'd go is 20 cents, and the highest I'd go for today is about 24. XLF 717. Okay. And then, all right, good. Just got filled on the Raytheon trade I showed you at the open. And we have to talk, man, we got a lot to do. You know what? I'll brief CSX. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow in the debrief. Excellent. Because we got to, well, I want to spend more time on Raytheon today than CSX. Maybe we'll save CSX for tomorrow and analyze your trade and debrief. All right, but anyway, I still will mention CSX because, oh man, where'd it go? The dude was on, look at this. Jim Foote, if you've been here for the folks that haven't been here, Jim Foote, the CEO, became CEO when the last CEO dropped dead unexpectedly. Okay, so I had been dying to get in the trend. No pun intended. You see this gap down right here, 2017, that massive 5-7% gap down was when the old CEO died. I said, Gordon Gekko moment, sucks to be him. Even with this pullback of 10% today, we're up 42, the stock's up 42%. And up until today, it was up 55%, right? Why? This is insane, right? So that's we got. So even with today's earnings miss, this thing is still printing money, and it will. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care that Nancy Pelosi, before she went to the White House infrastructure meeting, said the president's awful, he's a criminal, he should be indicted, and he's breaking the law, and then shows us the White House like, hey, Mr. President, let's talk infrastructure. He did the same thing I did. I would have walked into the room and said, we're done. We're not doing anything. Get out. And he was right to do that. Between now and sometime in the future, we have to get infrastructure done. Where was Minnesota, wherever, the damn bridge collapse, people? The infrastructure in this country sucks. The 3 R's in the president's infrastructure document says what? Railroads, runways, and roads, right? So the main reason this is a screaming buy. We're going to cover this tomorrow because I have to talk about Raytheon. We'll talk about this is a massive screaming buy right now. Out here to January of 2021. This is definitely one where you need to give this some time to work. No matter what you think of Donald Trump, 2020 and January 2020, somebody's getting inaugurated. And that somebody, whether it's Trump or this is what's funny is infrastructure is I'm not going to say I am going to say it's mainly a Democratic thing. It's jobs, it's union, it's dudes pouring cement, rebar, it's guys standing out, in heat building, guess what? Trump's like, that's me, man. I do infrastructure. I build stuff. I love concrete. So whoever gets inaugurated, whether it's a D or an R, infrastructure is going to be big out here, and CSX is going to be a massive beneficiary of that. But let's go to what this dude said because it doesn't bode well for what? It doesn't bode well for the economy. James Foote, for the last 4 or 5 earnings cycles, I think the last 2, we've laughed, folks, right? I've told you to watch him. His last 2 earnings reports, this one, were what? I called it a Trump re-election commercial. The guy said, I've never seen the economy so good. I've never been as bullish. I swear it was paid for by the Trump re-election committee because he could not have been more bullish on the economy and CSX. I'm going to tell you, I am furious with this guy. If I were a shareholder, I'd be calling my attorney today and suing him. Doesn't mean I don't think the company's going up by Jan 21. That's a separate issue, right? Why? With earnings like this, they should have pre-warned, just like Zuck the Cuck, like 2 or 3 earnings ago. Remember that massive implosion? Even Jim Cramer, who I think zero of, was like, the dude should be sued or in jail. Facebook needed to when your earnings are going to be that bad, what do? You give investors a heads up. So if I was a hedge fund investor that had a massive position in CSX, I would be filing a lawsuit today. This guy broke his fiduciary duty. So he needed to pre-warn. This is completely unacceptable. However, look at this. CSX year to date before today was up 28%, blowing away just about any other stock, man. This thing is insane. So having said that, we have Jan 21s and 20s and people have the 19s on. This is fine. For potential new full throttle members, this is your CEO drop dead moment. We got into it back here. You have here's the CEO dropping dead. This thing is going to rise again. And if you can get CSX for 10% cheaper right now, do it. Does everybody help? Doyle, how would a pre-warning help? Wouldn't the stock have dropped? Nope. Doyle, the stock would have been up today. Doyle, you've been here for a little bit. What did FedEx do, ladies and gentlemen? FedEx, before their last earnings a couple weeks ago, did what? They pre-warned twice. What did the stock do on earnings? It went up. Doyle, what you do when you pre-warn is you go out to a microphone and go, oh my God, we're almost out of business. The stock takes a hit, and guess what happens on earnings? You go, they're less horrible. And this is why you do not trade earnings. I'm going to give you my speech right now. Don't ever trade earnings if you're going to trade earnings, I'd rather put my money on this table, light it on fire, and have a glass of champagne. How many times have you traded earnings and gotten it right? Hey, CSX was a massive beat. Stock's down after hours. What? Same type of thing. Because here's your average retail investor. Oh my God, FedEx is pre-warned twice. Their earnings are going to be awful. And you buy some puts or you get bearish. FedEx reported less than horrific results and the stock's up 2% after hours. That's exactly what happens. Right? So it's awful. So look at that. Look at Leonard. Leonard doing the Lord's work. Leonard, his CSX is still up 58% after today's pullback. Leonard, if I were you, and I'm not, I would be adding to my CSX on this pullback. We'll talk tomorrow and analyze your trade because I need to talk about Raytheon. We're going to talk tomorrow about getting into a Jan 21 CSX. This is a screaming buy. Furious at the CEO that he didn't warn, but I'm going to take the pullback and I'm going to use it. And I'm going to make some money. So not happy with the dude. I'd go Gordon Gekko on his ass, and then now we're going to use this as an opportunity. Does that make sense, everybody? That pre-warning actually is a good thing. I've been in boardrooms. I do business consulting. I hear the Wall Street BS, folks, when people go, let's go out and pre-warn, and then when we're less than horrific, the stock's going to go up. Yeah, good idea. I've been there, folks. Help draft press releases about it. So let's just say I know the Wall Street game here. All right, there's a bunch of other stuff going on that we got behind on. It's funny, like what is it? The Google search for canceling Amazon Prime is up like 18% year over year or whatever. This is all Amazon stuff that we'll save for solo Amazon. All right, let's go to RTN. Let's go to Raytheon. So this, ladies and gentlemen, and I've been pounding the financials for being dead money. I think literally this is you could eat off of this. But here's the difference between this and the financials. Stability, whoa. So there's some movement until when it settles down. So Raytheon is going to sit here and channel into earnings. I didn't get filled last week on the bull put spread, did I? No. I was just looking at it. Okay, good. So I'm gonna show you the Iron Condor. So let's look at last week's trading. Oh wow, look at this. So hey, potential new Full Throttle members. Last week we closed SPY calls and FXI spread for $5,200 in a week. Men line, numbers don't. We were long SPY calls, right? And we were long China. $5,200, man. And that was on limit. I mean, I can show you those. Well, let's just stick with Raytheon, but I forgot. That's right. This time last week, we were closing two trades, guys, limited risk. Anybody in this room like to make $5,200 in a week? That's what we did last week. Raytheon. So last week I looked at a bull put spread. What is Raytheon? Everybody should know. You know what Raytheon's in the news for right now? Exactly, getting a lot of hell yes in the chat box. Ladies and gentlemen, $5,200 would pay for a 1.5 to 2 years of your Full Throttle membership in 2 trades. So somebody asked earlier in the week, like, hey, can we do trades that might pay for our membership in a week? Yeah, we did last week. So somebody just said CSX is going crazy. What do you mean it's going crazy? I'm not seeing anything in CSX. That's crazy. Anyway, let's get back. Raytheon, ladies and gentlemen, huge defense contract. Why is it in the news lately? Why was it in the news yesterday? The dude that is the nominee to be the 57th defense secretary within the last week, massive Raytheon guy. So his conflicts, and it's a little hard to bring somebody in to be the defense secretary that, if it's a civilian, doesn't have ties to a defense contractor. What are you going to bring in? A dude that ran Publix supermarkets? Come on, man. Pull this leg and plays jingle bells. Remember what happened when Mad Dog Mattis, Secretary of Defense Mattis, or General Mattis was nominated? Congress had to pass a law because it's a law that a former general or admiral can't be Secretary of Defense within what, 5 years, 10 years, or something like that. So, okay, good filled on the XLF. All right, so let's get into Raytheon here, folks. Raytheon, we've been long. We've had a nice Jan 20, Jan 21. We've been trading. So here's what I'm going to teach you, Top Gun options. You could be long-term bullish all the way out into the future on one of these names, and then we trade the heck out of the front months, right? We could do some stuff in the middle as well, but Raytheon, you have to have a defense stock in your portfolio. Why? Donald Trump loves the military, period. You can call him Cadet Bone Spurs or whatever you want, and he didn't serve, neither did Clinton or Obama. But anyway, it's so funny that people give him grief about his military service. The man is one of the most pro-military presidents in my lifetime, period. Barack Hussein Obama, we had sequestration. Does everybody remember that the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds didn't fly for a season and a half because they didn't have money? Yeah, but let's send them all over the world. Destroyed our. Anybody remember ships going bump in the night and sailors dying? It's because we're worried more about transgender integration aboard a submarine than we are navigation, seamanship, and warfighting. That was the best part about General Mattis, Secretary of Defense Mattis. He said, stop all of that crap and get back to defending this country. Great Secretary of State, Defense. All right, Raytheon. So Raytheon is going to calm down. What was this massive spike, Wiz? This, ladies and gentlemen, was what? UTC, which is UTX, the ticker, United Technologies Corporation, announced that they were merging/acquiring. It's an acquisition when the dude who's doing the acquiring becomes the CEO. So they bought, we want to buy Raytheon, and then what happened? It imploded and went back right around. We made, so it sucks because a bunch of people ejected. We had a bearish trade. We had a range bound trade on here, right? We had a bull put spread, bear call spread. It popped through the eject criteria. This is a perfect example, folks. And this was an Obama teachable moment. Remember that guy always used that terminology. This will be a teachable. This was a teachable moment. Why? When you get a we're going to buy you announcement, the only thing it's going to do after the initial day or two of froth is what? Go down. Why? It's not going to pop and keep going up. First of all, they announced a share price that we might buy it out. And second of all, you get into the details of the acquisition where it says Hey, by the way, if we find any dead bodies in your closet and this merger doesn't go through, you're on the hook for $1 billion, a breakup fee. It goes down. Well, a couple people stayed with me, and look, don't write this down, folks. And I think this is one of the only positions in 10 years at Top Gun Options we've been in where we've had like a merger announcement. This type of massive merger announcement doesn't happen too often. And who was on CNBC that morning when this got announced? The president. And what did he say? Or Fox Business or whatever? He said, I don't know about that deal. That might be a monopoly, right? So anyway, here's what I'm getting at. I think Raytheon's going to channel into earnings. And look at this. So the last week we looked at the 172.5, 170 bull put spread. Okay, that's actually up about 800. Well, let's take a look at what it's up. And I remember, folks, if it says earnings are July 25th, these options expire on the 26th. Let me say this loud and clear. Do not hold this trade until next Friday. Well, guess when we're going to get out of it? Next Wednesday, when we're sitting here in accelerated retirement. Okay, the 172.5, 170 bull put spread is at 31 cents. We look to get filled at about 60. 60 minus 31 times 30 contracts. Yeah, so the bull put spread from last week is up $870. How many of you are filled on that one from last Wednesday? Okay, good. Couple not, a bunch of yeses, couple nots. Okay. Rick, is Raytheon purchase no longer in the works? Yeah, it is, Rick. That's another reason it's going to sit here and channel. This is going to take. I mean, Karen, you and I being from the airline industry, mergers take forever in acquisitions. First of all, they have to do. I mean, they did due diligence leading into it. It's not like they go into this thing eyes wide closed. It's not final. The ink isn't dry on this thing. And the DOJ, FTC, Alphabet Soup announced that what? We need to look into this and make sure it's not a monopoly. Okay. Chris, is the Raytheon trade still good or little profit potential? The bull put spread that we covered last week is fantastic, and I'd hold it. I would not put this one on right now because it's too little premium. Maybe up here at the 175, 172.5. Okay, maybe this one. This would be a really tight iron condor, folks. This one has a 71% probability of making max profit. Okay, so this is the one I would do. I did not get filled on last week's bull put spread like I just showed you. That's up $870, $900. That's a hold, right? What's the max potential profit in that one? So that's up 50% in a week, right? The max potential profit in the bull put spread we covered last week is $1,800, and you got about half that. You got about 900. You got about a 50% in a week. So yeah, I wouldn't do that one. There's the risk to reward just isn't there. I'd do this one. Okay. So, and it's down here at 53 cents. Dang it. So with these two trades, ladies and gentlemen, I'm legging. It's called legging, right? I placed and I got filled on a little while ago a bear call spread up here, which means I don't think Raytheon's going to go do that. It shouldn't. As many of you know or should know, before earnings, companies enter what? A quiet period. They're not supposed to come out and mention any really huge, ginormous news or stuff. Okay, so I don't think it's going to pop, and I also don't think it's going to do that or that anytime soon. I think it's going to hang out. Okay, so, oh, super. Fire alarm testing. So, this is a range-bound trade called an iron condor. Okay, why? Because the P&L diagram, that's what it looks like. It looks like a condor type of thing. Okay, so let's take a look at the. Here's what the bear call spread looks at. Oh, super. This goes on for about 30 seconds. This is the bear call spread, folks. The 182.5, 185 bear call spread. And what did I get filled at here? feel like I'm on the aircraft carrier going to general quarters. Orders. Filled it. I got filled at 63 cents. So yeah, this is still good. But let me show you what the full iron condor would look like. This is what I mean by legging into it. All right. So we did 30, 30, sell, buy, and these would be the puts, the 175, 172 and a half. And I'm gonna do a little magic here. Let me look at this real quick. I'm gonna show you a little bit of magic. Okay. Everybody look at this, the max risk in this trade. The max risk in this trade is $5,900. Okay, let me write this over here. $5,900 in this trade, right? Okay. Now the let's do the other one, the bear call spread. The max risk in this trade is what? 56. So you ready? 5,600 plus 5,900 equals 11,500. How many of you? How many? Yeah, exactly. Deborah's like, thank you. The picture of the iron condor. Never knew that was the reason. So how many of you think that between these two trades I just showed you, the max risk is $11,500? Let me get a show of hands. How many of you think the max risk is 11.5 with those two trades? Somebody just said, no, it's more. Nope. I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that with those two trades, the max risk is about $3,900. It's actually less than the $5,000 that I usually don't want to risk. You ready for this? Now we're going to have some learning in the next 9 minutes. Watch this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to work some whiz magic, so to speak. All right, so here's the bull put spread. Let me add the bear call spread, and I'm going to show you some magic. Sell, buy, 30, 30. Calls. Was it the 180, 182 and a half, right? 180s, 182 and a half. Or no, I did the 182 and a half, 185s, right? Anyway, what the heck's the calls? Right, the 182 and a half, 185, sorry. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, if you sat there and said, yeah, Wiz, that one was risking 59, this one's risking 56, that's $11,500 in risk. If you answered that, you better grab a full throttle slot in about 8 minutes because you're wrong. The risk in both those trades is $3,900. How is that possible, Wiz? You just showed me the max risk because guess what? Yeah, it looks like a condor flapping its wings. You see this trade right here, ladies and gentlemen? This on the left side is the bull put spread, right? This is me saying I don't think Raytheon's going below a certain price. This is the bear call spread. It is physically, inhumanly, no way possible on God's green earth for Raytheon to do what? So we put a bear call spread on up here. We put a bull put spread right here. Raytheon can't do what? Go through a meat slicer and blow through both trades. You cannot lose or take a max loss on both spreads. It's physically impossible. Scott, yes, I am doing the Iron Condor. I said that a couple times. So, yeah, folks, you can't lose on both. The max loss is what? Only on one of them. And if one of them is hitting max loss, what is the other one doing? At max profit. So this is what the entire trade would look like. Risking 3,900 to potentially make 3,600 by next Friday, but we're not holding it through earnings. This is an awesome looking trade. I haven't talked too much about the Greeks. We'll talk about that in our 8 training sessions you're going to get access to. But guess what we get every day that goes by? We sell something, right? I'm sitting up here on the 29th floor. I can see the Fort Lauderdale Ferrari dealership. Guess what happens when you buy that $250,000 Ferrari? As soon as you peel out of that parking lot having a midlife crisis, what happens? You lose money. It decays. Depreciation, right? So we just sold a bear call spread and we sold a bull put spread. What happens? Between now and the time this trade expires, we make money every day. Chris, are the training sessions recorded for future viewing? You bet, Chris. And as long as you're a Full Throttle member, you get access to the next live one too. If we do another Full Throttle in September, you get access to all 8 brand new sessions. Absolutely. You get access to all the archives and all the new ones. So look at this trade as it goes forward in time. If this platform would respond. There's theta down here. This is the Greek theta. Okay? So every day that goes by in this trade, we get theta. We get time decay. You ready? Look at that. No. Of course, the platform's not responding here. Trust me, every day that goes by, you get theta. It's called time decay. All right? You get the fire alarm too, which is just absolutely phenomenal. They've been doing this. Like, thank God they took a break for most of our session because I was about to run downstairs with a high-powered rifle. I guess they have to go through each unit and check out that the alarm and the speaker's working, which I don't know why they can't do it by floor, which is just absolutely insane. So, but this is what the full iron Condor would look like. I'll take a screenshot of this. I'll put this on the member page. If you don't grab your membership in about 5 minutes, you're not going to get to see this trade. This is only, in the past, I used to send this all out to everybody, but way too much free stuff. And the fire alarm is just extra goodness. All right, so there's our Iron Condor and Raytheon. We will get out of this next Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen, and not stay in it through earnings. Some people might want to. Oops, Iron Condor. Nope, don't want to replace that. It's a metric, and we'll do that. Okay. William, again, your recommendation on what to do with the Jan 20 Raytheon synthetic stock position. William, I've covered it out 50 times. I've closed mine. I would get in the UTX. That's it. Jose, would this trade idea be part of AR or a different TGO membership? This accelerated retirement is part of Full Throttle membership. So this is us. Some people, you can just buy access to AR, accelerated retirement, but the way we package the Full Throttle packages, it makes no sense to buy one. I mean, you can buy it solo, but it really doesn't make any sense. You should do, well, I'll brief you that on that, right? AR 717. All right, well, if they're doing this tomorrow, I am going up to Boca. Jesus. All right, let me, since a bunch of you are asking questions about membership and stuff like that, let's actually, so current members, you guys are cleared off. You guys have heard this and you actually have gotten your Full Throttle or just AR. So you guys are cleared off. I'll see many of you tomorrow for Analyze Your Trade and Debrief. We'll do the training session tonight most likely because I don't think we're going to get all 50 full between now and 9 o'clock. So Daryl, you can trade from this platform, correct? Trade from which platform? I use trade. I use E-Trade, folks. You can't trade from a TGO doesn't have a brokerage platform, folks. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get airborne. I'll see you later, Jeff. Folks, if you're ready to get airborne, like I said, we're only taking 50. Once we take 50, we're done with the free stuff for the rest of the week because we're not a charity. And every time we do this, my marketing team's like, what a waste. You give away way too much stuff. So that's what we're going to do. I'll see you later, Harry. All right, so let's get airborne. For the folks that are ready to get airborne, quick review of our 2018 performance. One of my best years in 27 years of doing this. The year before that was even better. After the Trump elect, one of the only financial professionals, me, Jeffrey Gunlock, and about one other hedge fund manager, said not only does Trump win, the market has a rip your face off rally. All the idiots at Goldman, Morgan, that's the smart money, folks, right? Up until the day before the election, Citi had this 12-page paper about how Clinton wins with double digits, and if Trump wins, the market and the economy implodes. Did that dude or lady get fired for their stupidity? We didn't. We blew away everybody that year. I made a bunch of other career calls as well. So we're outperforming just about everybody out there, folks, which is fantastic. Look at, you want to be in a hedge fund or be with the smart money? They're up about 7% year to date, which is just stupid. So here's what we're going to do. Well, this is last year. Primary live trade brief up about 125% return on risk, about 188 grand based on a $100,000 portfolio. The weekly options and urgent alert brief, 106% return, 121. And then this was my, I like to say it's my embarrassment portfolio, up 100% return on risk for just north of about 100 grand. How many of you would love a 100% return in your retirement fund in a year? Okay, exactly. Reminder, folks, we lose some battles, man. What we have, a bad vol trade a week ago, or a bad China thing. There's losing trades, folks. We want to win the war. Losing trades happen. I have losing trades. You have losing trades. You go to any one of these briefs and somebody says everything's fantastic and we never have a losing trade, they're a liar and it's a Ponzi scheme. So we have losing trades. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Kurt was skeptical when he joined, been burned many times, not skeptical anymore, making money. Larry, man, this is a good one. He's invested in other companies, training, and spent a ton of money. You give them your money, watch a few videos, and use their multitude of indicators. The only indicator you need, ladies and gentlemen, is the 8 inches of gray matter between your ears. It cracks me up to see these Fibonacci reverse shoulder handle twist with a. Does any brokerage firm that you know of let you trade off the left side of a chart? I'll wait. How many of you can trade off the left side of a chart? Support, resistance, there's 50-day moving averages. There's some stuff that can help, but it's absolutely ridiculous. We use technical analysis, but it's just one of the many things that we have, right? Chris, you're going to have to talk to your broker about what they allow in your IRA. With TGO, you actually get interaction with the pros very often. The content is never static. It changes with the market, right? Rick, here you go. Your marketing really is genius. You give trades that pay for memberships. I'm amazed how anyone doesn't join. I just showed you an AR last week. We closed 2 trades worth $5,200. Okay, so Daryl, I covered that Monday night. You have to watch Monday night's Welcome Aboard brief. Lisa, I traded actively about 5 years before TGO, was barely profitable, was about to quit. TGO methods turned my trading completely around. Very, very successful last year. And this year starting up already accounts are profitable. Membership in TGO will continue paying over and over. My Marine buddy Shrek, $6,600, didn't know what an option was. The way you put the ladder down is not just the right thing to do, but it garners you a loyal and well-trained squadron. Learning to fly my own jet has been incredible. So I'm going to teach you guys how to take your portfolio supersonic. Okay, so here we go. What do you need to trade successfully? Solid training, right? Training gives you a skill, folks. I'm not going to educate you. People are idiots, right? The world is full of educated derelicts. You have to be trained. That takes a building block approach. AR, primary, weekly options, and a weekly debrief, right? You need a tight plan. Thank you for all the kind words yesterday, Monday night, about a trade plan. The trade plan is in the handout section. A bunch of people said yesterday, I grabbed screenshots of your comments, like there is no one else in the business that gives you as good of a trade plan. We went through that 7 steps yesterday with FXI, right? Each step. Before I even got airborne in the trade, we knew when we're going to get out for max profit or minimum loss. And you need to practically apply what you're learning in these live trade briefs, right, ladies and gentlemen? So anyway, I know what you need to trade successfully. Why? Because I've been there. My God, I look like I'm 12 in that picture. I've been you. I've learned about calls and puts, and then at the end of their little brief, it was I had these and then what moments, right? What type of bait do I use? What time of day? How do I cast? I mean, just don't tell me, educate me about how to fish. Show me how to fish. That's what I do. So I rose from being a lowly self-taught retail options trader. I literally, before Al Gore invented the internet, was at the base library reading a book on options. I built this for me to help you because I've been you. I went from being a retail trader to running a $2.5 billion Wall Street options firm, folks. There's nobody else in the world that has done what I've done. And I built my own options news network, the CNBC for options, was the chief development officer for a hedge fund. Know what I'm doing, folks. So this is what we call full throttle. This is our options training program, and we have 3 tracks. This isn't one size fits all. This is what's funny about other services. They just assume everybody is the same, and you're not. One of the reasons I took a survey Monday night about your options knowledge is because you're going to fall into one of these tracks. This was built because of you. I didn't come up with this. Primary, intermediate, and advanced. I stole this from Naval Aviation, or I borrowed it. Here's how it works, right? If you're an aggressive type of trader, you like that at the money bear call spread, we got it. We have a track for you. If you're a conservative trader, AR, more conservative, accelerated retirement, there's a track for you. And if you want to do both, we have obviously the full enchilada, obviously. Portfolios, here's kind of our normal week. We do weekly options Monday at 1 o'clock. Tuesday, we do the primary live trade brief at 1 o'clock for about an hour and a half. Wednesday, obviously, we do AR, accelerated retirement, and then on Thursday, we do analyze your trade, and we do a weekly debrief. If you notice, we don't do anything on Friday, or actually, you don't do anything on Friday. I do. Friday's my busiest day, man. I do one-on-one coaching with folks, and sometimes it's like 5 to 6 individual trade briefs, folks. So we can talk coaching, offline. It's a separate, obviously it's a lot higher dollar, but Friday's my busiest day, to be honest with you. So that's our weekly flight schedule, what we do here at Top Gun Options. So here's how you decide what path, what track for you to choose. The offensive track is everything we do here at Top Gun Options, right? You're going to get the 8 live training sessions from this is what the market is, this is a call, this is a put, to here's how to trade an iron condor. You're going to get access to the primary live trade brief, urgent alerts, analyze your trade, and the weekly options live trade brief, okay? So notice what's in red. You get everything and you get weekly options, okay? We have a weekly options trade on right now. You guys weren't invited because we're doing it on Friday, right? We kind of do it backwards. So offensive track, here's where you need to go. If that sounds something like you like, here's the link. Go.topgunoptions.com/getft. Nope, do not sell naked puts. If you sell naked puts, you're absolutely insane. Insane to sell naked puts. Sell cash secured puts, don't sell naked. Offensive track, that's you, man. You got the fangs hanging out of your oxygen mask, shooting down some Air Force Bubba. Defensive, Wiz, I'm a little bit more, maybe take things a little bit more slower. Well, instead, you get everything we do here. Instead of doing weekly options, you do this brief today, accelerated retirement. So you get the 8 sessions, you get Tuesday's brief, the urgent alerts, you get analyze your trade on Thursdays, and you get AR, accelerated retirement, right? You're a little bit more conservative, hanging out, right? You're flying in this E2 Hawkeye with that radar on top, looking 600 miles out into the future, right? A little bit more conservative. Now, as you can guess, you can do both. If you want to do everything we do here at Top Gun Options, the only thing that isn't included in full throttle is our Amazon service. It's called Solo Amazon, separate conversation. But Max Afterburner is everything we do here at Top Gun Options, right? 85% of the folks that are current members at Top Gun Options are in the Max Afterburner program, okay? So Max Afterburner, that's you, man. You're sitting in an F-14. What a great airplane. I flew the Hornet. Don't tell any Tomcat pilot I said it was a great airplane, but because I used to dogfight them in beat the heck out of them. But look at that thing. At night, sitting on the catapult, it would change your heart rate. I used to be sitting in an F-18 on the catapult next to it doing this, and my plane was about to melt. Just absolutely insane. This is maximum afterburner. Push that thing over the side. Hitman, John Hilterman. He was a Hornet buddy of mine. Profited $6,800 in 3 weeks. Fairly new to trading options, but I pulled the trigger with Wiz on the weekly options program. He did Full Throttle Max, and I'm not looking back. He's done an outstanding job teaching me the nuances of these trades and the discipline required to stick with your strategic mindset of how to profit no matter which way the market is going. Program isn't for the faint of heart. He's talking about weekly options because they're very tactical trades. It often requires what I call a lucky strike moment, right? Where you need to sit back, relax, take a drag, and fly and trade your plan. Fly the brief, right? We call it flying the brief. These are briefs, folks. We covered yesterday a full trade plan on FXI. Relax and fly the plan. Inevitably, though, by the end of the week, the strategy established and the tactics employed to capitalize during that week pay off. In just 3 weeks of coming aboard with Wiz, I've profited $6,800. Hitman lives up in Pensacola. Nearly 80% of our members work. You don't have to be in the live trade briefs. Everything's recorded. And guess what we do? We send out a text and email alert. The only service that doesn't get text and email alerts is AR, Accelerated Retirement. Right? You'll get an email saying, hey, here's the replay. But these aren't time-sensitive trades in Accelerated Retirement. Weekly options, analyze your trade, the solo Amazon, all the other services, but this is the only one. But you get an email and text alert whenever we open a position, right? So here are the 8 training sessions. Whatever track you do, max afterburner, offensive or defensive, we're going to do this in, I think, about 2 weeks. These are going to be live every Tuesday and Thursday night from about, 9 to 10. Actually, we usually do 7, 10, whatever it is. They're about an hour to an hour and a half each, folks. So if you're sitting there going, dude, I have no idea what an iron condor is, you're going to, folks. I told you that this building block approach was built like Pensacola flight training. Dude, I don't even know what an airplane is. Good. By session 8, you're landing aboard the ship. I have copied the entire program that can take somebody who doesn't even know what an option is and in a short amount of time turn you into a steely-eyed options trader, profitable options trader. That is your academic syllabus. Training in methodology and my intelligence sources, long calls, short calls, puts, covered calls, bullish spreads, bearish spreads, vertical. Building block approach. Other services out there airdrop you in the middle of Afghanistan with a rifle and go, good luck. And you don't even know what the hell's going on. Not here. I built this for me, which is from you. 8 training sessions are going to take you from 0 to hero in a massive way. Here's what's, and somebody asked earlier, do you get access to the archive? Yeah, you get access to all the full throttles I've done before. And as long as you're still a member here, access to all of them going forward. In 2 weeks, when we start these things every Tuesday and Thursday night, you know what I'm going to do? I email my full list and I sell this. This alone is $495. So guess what? Every time you come back and do this, it's free. You ain't paying a nickel. Somebody do the math. Tamara said she's done 7 of these full throttle 8 briefs. 7 times 5, that's how much in value Tamara's got personally by doing this. You're also going to get all your proprietary manuals, your primary, intermediate, and advanced workbook. These things are worth their weight in gold. As soon as you become a member in a couple minutes, you need to download these and start reading them. Start with primary, intermediate, and advanced. Okay? You already have the OPCL, the Options Pocket Checklist. I threw that at you just for registering. Okay? Harry's in here. Started with the monthly. After 2 months, I realized Wiz was real, went yearly. He knows the ropes of the market. Keep printing money. Thank you for the better way of life. I'm not going to go into case studies too much more, folks. Why? Because I've shown you, right? Most of the guys that do these 85 PowerPoint presentations have a bunch of case studies in there and then ask for an investment. I don't. I showed you what we do here at Top Gun Options, and I showed you live trades. Okay? So this is not for you folks. If you want to get rich overnight, this takes time. You need to be disciplined. You need to train, right? You believe that losses never happen, and you like to complain. If you're a complainer, whiner, and you like to see the negative in anything, you're not going to be well in our squadron, or you want to be fed the fish, right? I'm not here. This is just not some trade service that fires a Gatling gun number of trades out there. We do SOT, strategic, operational, and tactical. If you're sick of the hype, you want results, you're passionate about execution, you don't like smoke being blown anywhere, and you recognize that you lack discipline as a trader, I guarantee you do. Sometimes every once in a while, I get smacked in the face and have to remember, whoa, dude, that's why it's written in blood, Wiz, right? And I'll admit when those moments happen so you can learn from me. The Top Gun options difference. It's superior training, risk management, and discipline. And with practical application in the live trade briefs, it's easy to follow, man. If I can do this, we have little old ladies in tennis shoes, we have stay-at-home moms, we got retirees, we got senior VPs at companies that are members here. So here we go, 50 slots open right now. When we get 50, we're done for the week, and we're done until about October when we do our next full throttle brief, okay? Let me actually show you what the page is so you can grab your slot right now, and then I'll go back and try and answer a lot of any questions. Yeah, the replay, folks, will be posted on the replay page. This is the replay page. Somebody came in late. Here's the link. It is in the chat box right now. Okay. Donna, I went to school in Jacksonville, Florida. Welcome aboard, Donna. Donna is Max. Donna is a Max Afterburner member. All right, so here we go. The defensive track, let me just brief it again real quick, includes everything we do, and you get accelerated retirement. That's $19.95 for a full year. The offensive track, everything we do here, and you do weekly options instead of the retirement stuff. That's $24.95 for a year. And then the Max Afterburner, which is everything and everything and everything, is $29.95. Now, I just showed you two trades from accelerated retirement last week that made $5,200 in a week. There is your Max Afterburner slot for a year and a half, right? That's 2.5 years of a defensive track. That's actually accelerated retirement. I just showed you, ladies and gentlemen, by next Friday, this time next Wednesday, if that Raytheon Iron Condor is looking good, we could potentially be up $3,900 in a Raytheon trade. One trade is an annual membership here at Top Gun Options. These are underpriced, right? These are underpriced. Harry, let me see if I can share that. And I appreciate that. So these were the these are the discounted prices. I've lowered them down a little bit to let the ladder down, right? These are actually what they should be, and these are the discounted prices, guys. So somebody just asked for a discount. I'm like, are you kidding me? We might be going up to the old prices here soon, pretty soon. Harry, let me share that real quick. Right here. Let me show that, Harry. So Harry's been here for a bunch of years. Harry should be a lifetime member. He's still trying to ask his wife. Wiz trades the right side, not the left. Wiz wins and loses trade. He is human. Most important, if you can deal with his politics, you will print money. Hell yeah. Folks, it's funny that I get maybe one or two people every full throttle who's like, I don't want to hear about your bullshit politics. I'm out of here. Good. You're not going to have fun here. Politics drives the markets. How many government shutdowns did we print money on? I remember the last John Boehner one. We made about 23 grand trading volatility. Going into a government shutdown, going out of it, right? The debt ceiling that's coming up. Treasury Secretary Mnuchin was out at the microphone yesterday going, we got to raise the debt. How about Barack Hussein Obama lose? Everybody remember this? Nobody brings this up in conversation. I usually do. Remember the United States of America used to have a AAA credit rating? We don't. But anyway, so yeah, I am unabashed about my politics. I criticize this president often about when he sucks, and I support him when he's not. I did that with President Obama. I criticized him when he sucked, and which was often, and I praised him when he was doing good. Here's how you get to the track. Somebody just asked. This big thing right here is an image. Just click on it. Okay. So to grab whichever slide you want, just click on it. and you'll go to the order page right here. This is the best value, folks, 80 to 85%. And sorry, that question flew by. I wasn't ignoring it. Yeah, you can upgrade. Wiz, I ain't ready for weekly options. They're a little too tactical. Great, start defensive and move up to offensive, or do max after. You can always upgrade, man. Most people who start defensive go right to max, and most people who start offensive go to max too. I'm telling you, man. After 10 years of doing this, that's where you'll end up, is full throttle max. Okay. Steve, I know everyone asks this, but ideally, what account size do you need to trade beginner options? Steve, I can't answer that. All I can say is most brokerage firms require, $1,000. I know E-Trade requires $1,000 to open an account and $2,000 to trade on margin. So you can start with as little as $2,000. And the best thing, and Diane said this yesterday, Steve, is you should not. If I'm risking $5,000 in a trade and you only want to risk 500. You, instead of doing 200 contracts, you're doing 20 or something like that. So I know, Steve, you sound like a smart guy. You can probably figure it out on your own, but you can scale your contracts, right? Henry, we can go take a look at AR. I think AR's, I think we're up about 4,700. So yeah, up until today. So today, who is it? Henry. I was up about 18 or 16 grand in accelerated retirement. And then I got a swift left kick to the Jimmy. But folks, this line is going to be over here by the end of the year, period. CSX is a steal down here. We've been making good money trading volatility, China, SPY, our XLY. So whoever just asked that, Henry, I am going to load the boat on the CSX pullback, and I'm going to turn that 11 grand into a massive profit. I guarantee you. All right, let me scroll through some more of these. Doug, cool. Doug, where are you from? Donna, you're from Jacksonville. Doug, where are you from? Doug's he's an annual defensive member. Welcome aboard. That's going to be good. Okay. All you do is you scroll down this page, folks, and you can see all the other things that you get right here. The only thing, the returns are on here. This is a sales page, guys. I don't like selling. This is why I open the door. This is why I don't do 98 slide PowerPoint presentations and ask you to buy something. I'd rather tell you who I am, show you a live trade brief, show you some trades, and then say this is the price. If you like it, great. If you don't, then you don't have to join, obviously. Okay. So yeah, great. Jan, I'm going to do a CSX synthetic stock. We'll most likely do that tomorrow. Okay, because we ran out of time. I wanted to cover Raytheon. Let me make sure BS, how much risk do you have on at any one time, if you don't mind me asking? No, that's a great question to ask. Out of our $100,000 model portfolios, I almost never want to be more than 50 or 60% in. What does that mean? That means I got about 40 to 50 grand sitting on the sidelines at all times, powder dry. Do you know how many times that has saved somebody's life here at Top Gun Options? Most people in this room, if you're not a current TGO member, probably have all your money in. I'm not meaning all your money, but like all of your invested money invested, right? Do not do that ever. I'm going to remind you very often, ladies and gentlemen, to keep some powder dry. And I recommend in this market at record highs, sitting on about 30 to 40% in cash. Why? Because when, not if, that happens, you can walk into the crowded movie theater after somebody yelled fire and pick up everybody's wallets and purses and steal. Does that make sense? So the risk to the portfolio is usually about 50-ish. Does that make sense? I appreciate that, Rob. Let me show this. Let me show this. When you go flying, BS, I'll be flying over the weekends out at Nellis Air Force Base. It doesn't impact my trading. I might be flying during the week. Folks, we do an hour to an hour and a half a day. If you're doing any more than that, Folks, I do this for a living, and you don't have to be at your computer 8 hours a day. It's ridiculous. This takes a couple hours a week. Rob, Wiz doesn't rent a plane, then make a marketing video with his buddy on the plane, which looks like an infomercial. He teaches you, and it is up to you to make sure you control your own trades. Don't wait for him to tell you after what to do. That's exactly right, Rob. And it's a good analogy is what? The pilot in command. I ain't flying your aircraft, folks. That's it. I'm in a single seat F-18. If you're my wingman, you're in your own jet. I'm not reaching out of my cockpit over there to grab your control stick and your throttle to fly for you. It's physically impossible, and I'm not going to do that. I teach you how to fly and fight your own airplane. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a great marketing idea, but I'm going to tell you that I don't want you here forever. Look at XLF, up $200 already. Wait, what did that guy just say? I don't want you here forever. I actually appreciate Harry, Tamara, Diane, Kevin, guys that have been here for years. Why? Because they become friends. We have a tight squadron. But folks, at the end of the day, I want you to put that Top Gun options patch on your shoulder and salute and say, hey, Wiz, I'm going back to the fleet. That's what you do at Top Gun. Folks, you're not a Blue Angel. You don't go to Top Gun for your naval career. You go out, you do the Lord's work, you learn, and then you go back to the fleet and teach everybody, hey, man, I just got back from Top Gun. Here's the newest and greatest tactical and strategic information. And you pass it on. You put the ladder down. Okay? That's what I want you to do here. I love, obviously my support team doesn't love when we get emails saying, dude, I'm good. I've been here for a couple of years. I'm going out on my own. Why do I say that's good? Do you know how many referrals we get? Do you know how many people go, Wiz, I'm good. I'm done. I know what I need to know, and I just sent 2 buddies over. That's my metric of success. Okay, so all right, good. And my phone's buzzing even more, which means I'm telling you guys, once we get 50, we probably won't get 50 by tonight. I think that's happened once. When that happened, I think that was around the Ben Bernanke meeting. I think literally after this AR brief when he announced like that he was tapering. I think we got like 50 people before we did the night session, and I still did Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, which we're not going to do. So once we get 50, folks, this week, we're going to be done trading. Okay? Any other questions, concerns? Oh, by the way, smart remarks. We will plan on being here at 9 o'clock tonight. Marion, what did you just get? Marion from Greenville, Mississippi. Welcome aboard, Marion. See your name flying through here. So, all right, good stuff. Let's talk tomorrow about CSX, putting on a long-term bullish trade on CSX. And tonight, let's talk about the burner trade or the trade, right? That I'm going to show you tonight a trade that's going to serve as a hedge in your portfolio. And again, I'm sorry I'm not getting to all the questions because we've gone way over our time here. So look at that. The VIX back to life here, folks. Let me show you that. The VIX is back to life, up 3%. Look at that, man. I told you yesterday, I'm like, this is stupid cheap down here. Here's your last Wizism of the day, and I'll remind you of it tonight. When interest rates are low, stocks will grow. When interest rates are high, stocks will die. Doug, I absolutely do. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. You cannot, and other places are breaking the law, and if I was in a bad mood, I'd put a lot of my competitors out of business. I cannot show you. I have to use this account. I trade all this stuff on my own, folks. I cannot give you investment advice. So, Doug, that is absolutely the reason. There's no gray, folks. Right? In the Navy, it's black and white, man. There are regulations. I've been in business for 10 years for this very reason. A lot of other folks out there are breaking the law and doing wrong things, Doug. We don't. I care more about my business and my members than getting some sort of Ponzi scheme of new members. So absolutely, this is a training environment, and obviously doing, obviously I have to monitor all these things. So let's just say that there's somewhere else. Doug, I don't want to plug too many individual brokers. I use TradeStation. If you're a veteran or a first responder, you get a great deal on commissions over at TradeStation. The platform sucks for options traders. No offense, TradeStation, but I can't beat the money, to be honest with you. When it saves you more or less a full, I can hire maybe another full-time person or research analyst for what I save in commission. So good question, Doug. I appreciate it. Arthur was making a condolence call. Oh man, lived a long life. Arthur, remember, no text alerts for AR, accelerated retirement. No AR text alerts, but we do have 2 positions on. And well, let me see if I'm gonna. I'm trying to get into this Raytheon Iron Condor here. Ooh, 55 cents. I'll go up to what I say, 53 plus or minus 2 cents. Yep, let's go ahead and do that. So, Arthur, I will have these trades up on the member page in about 15 minutes. All right. So here's what we did today: Raytheon, XLF, and Raytheon. Trying to get into a Raytheon Iron Condor and an XLF. I sold an at the money bear call spread that's already up about 200 bucks. So. You bet, Arthur. Nope, I appreciate it. Arthur's been here for a while too. He's a great American and a great member. There it is, folks. Doesn't get any easier than this. Defensive, offensive, or max. I guarantee you, you're going to end up, even if you do one of these, you're going to be in here eventually. So might as well save some money and some time. Okay, max afterburner. All right, folks. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. I'll see you at tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern, where we're going to talk about we got to get long volatility. When vol's cheap, you buy it. When it's expensive, you sell it. Okay. Thanks. Okay, Arthur, let me grab a screenshot of that. So Arthur says, tell them this is the unquestionable best service ever, guys. These are current members. If like I said, if I can't, Mark, it's the same link that you got in here today. The same link I'll be using for tomorrow and Friday as well. Okay, so you bet, Daryl. So the same link that you used to get in here today, yesterday, every day, it's the same link for every session. But Mark, you'll still get one about an hour prior. Okay. So, all right, guys, have a great rest of your day. I'm going to post the trades for my members up on the page, and then I'll get the replay posted for folks who want to watch the replay on this page shortly. Okay. I'll see you tonight at 9. God bless.